We are Jam Solutions, comprised of Jason Clifton, myself, Andrew Alvarez, Matt Pitts, Matt students here at Galvanize G51 Web Development course, and for our quarter two project.
Hello.
Stuff. Going live. Oh, what? Hello, thanks for coming. We are Jam Solutions, comprised of Jason Clifton, myself, Andrew Alvarez, Matt Pitts, Matt Victor, and Stephen Wharton. We are all students here at G51 Web Development course. And today, for our quarter two project, we'd like to present our project, which we sought to develop an app to be used by developers and other team-based project workers when working on projects and certain tasks. The problem we were attempting to solve would be to put an end to the chaos of projects as far as who's going to do what and when and this and that, and being able to assign tasks and just see when they're done. So our solution is Jello, which brings teams together. And for a demo, here's Matt.
All right, so this is probably going to look familiar to you if you've used something with most of the same letters as Jello. But so we've got a basic setup here. You can create columns. In this case, we've got a to-do column. This is some tasks I've been thinking about doing next week while we're all on break, so definitely going to do a little bit of this. You can have links, so if I want to drink with people, I could go to westward.com. It's not working, but it would work if I put HTTP before it. Probably don't need to go here, but yeah, if we wanted to, oh, and I've got some comments down here that I made. I'm a little lonely, but no one has responded. So that's too bad. Anyways, moving on. Right now we're in doing, finishing the presentation. But if we wanted to maybe think about some other things to do over the week, can you hold this for me? Thank you. We'll add some stretch goals for our break week. And does anyone have something they might want to do? They haven't, they're not sure if they're going to do it yet, or not that. What's that? Accumulator patterns. All right. We'll add accumulator patterns. And we get a little story here, which we can then open up. Maybe add a link to Stack Overflow. That is probably the URL. I don't know. We all just Google it, right? How do I do this? Maybe add a comment. Can anyone help me with the accumulator patterns? And then we get a little, don't delete it. Get a little post there, which has our time of posting. And fortunately, there's no one else on this project now, so no one's ever going to reply to that. But yeah, we could add a list too if we want, like learn higher order functions. Something like that. Oh yeah, we can also add, list items. So, I don't know, something. And it depends it right there. You can also delete a link if you want, just by doing that. And actually, I'm not gonna do anything really over break, so I'm just gonna delete that column altogether. And that's mostly what it does. If you log out, take you back to this home page here, and log in would be a nice little modal. You can sign up. Yeah, that's Jello. Wow. Oh yeah, back to the slides. Come on, little guy.
All right, so into the challenges part of this presentation. One of the big things, we had a 5-person group, so communication was very important. In terms of keeping everyone on the same page, in terms of like pushing the GitHub, we had to make sure no one was working on the same file at the same time to avoid those merge conflicts. I'm sure everyone experienced this week. Another thing was kind of delegating tasks. Sometimes we had really only one thing we could do to move on to another part of the app, so we had to kind of figure out who would work on what. And yeah, then we had a bunch of challenges with the front end and back end, and Matt's going to talk about some front end challenges.
All right, I guess I'm back. So this, when we decided to build this, we didn't really think about how complicated it was going to be. The front end was definitely a huge undertaking, especially using pretty much jQuery and like JavaScript and no front end frameworks or anything. Definitely excited to learn about those. But there's a lot of dynamically created click handlers and dynamically created click handlers that create other click handlers, and just lots of confusing things like that. Just lots of little features that, you know, even though we had time, they kept adding up, and we didn't get all the things we wanted to get done finished, but we're pretty happy with what we did, and it was definitely a fun undertaking. So Jason, you want to talk a little bit about some of the back-end challenges?
Yeah, so on the back end, trying to get that auth working, like, it was not fun. We spent a lot of hours on it, Steve and I, and I mean, we finally got it, and we ended up using the JSON web tokens, and it was working for the most part. There's still some like routes that aren't authorized that we will probably go and refactor and stuff, but then we also kind of had our promises, which Steve will talk about.
Yeah, so like since we have like so many tables, like we wanted to get all the information back from like one API route, I guess. So like we're trying to do like through all this like a promise chain, and yeah, we needed CJ's help with that, and he helped us with that. So thanks for that. Yeah, I guess that's it for that.
So to finish off some of the future developments we're working on, we want to be able to add a feature to invite other users to work on a project that you created. We want to be able to maybe receive notifications when someone in your group has modified something to a project, deleted a story or added a story or something to that effect. We basically had the drag and drop working, just a few little kinks we have to work out, but you know, that way you can easily just move a story from one column to another, you know, from doing to done or what have you. And overall, just kind of sharpen up the user experience a little better. Maybe add a couple screenshots to the index page, just kind of let the user know how our app works before they get involved or get into it, I guess. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. That's our app. So thank you.
Good job, everybody.
Hello, hello.
Yeah, I'll probably use like the first two.
All right, we're good to go.
Cool. Any clap?
All right, please give it up for Terraformers.
Okay, so we're Terraformers. Well, me, Fahad, Andrew, and Rob. We are building this app called Dialogue. So the idea of the app came to my mind. I was driving. Usually I used to look to the sky. At that time I was looking at the ground and I thought to myself, well, at this exact point, if I dig a hole, where will I be ended it? Like, what is on the other side of this exact location? And then I thought probably this is going to be a good idea for a web app. Next day I talked to my team, awesome team, about the idea, and then they told me, F yeah, let's do it. And then, so it's pretty straightforward idea. So it's all about, you have like a globe, you see the Earth, and then you pick a point on this, you pick a location on this Earth, and then it will show you the exact location on the opposite side of this place. Like one of the cool things we found in Colorado Springs, there's a park or something, and on the opposite side exactly, there's an island in the ocean. So it's not about like money, or it's kind of like a philosophical connection between two spots. So I think it's pretty awesome, and I'll leave the rest to the demo with Will.
Hey guys. So for the demo, I'll go ahead and show you the park that he's talking about. So this is the splash screen. We've got this little dual 3D Earth that rotates in real time. You've got the target on the other side. So let's say you've got some coordinates you want to enter, and conveniently the placeholder is where we are right now. So if I was to zoom in, then you can see this is Galvanize. First, before I show you Galvanize, I'll show you this little park outside Colorado Springs. Park outside Colorado Springs that Fahad was talking about. So if we go down here, yep, there's the Indian Ocean, and there's this park. It's hard to do it backwards, so boom, it's like almost the exact side. And so, it's really cool because if you zoom out, that's the Indian Ocean, and there's everything is circled in purple that's there. So, that's the United States and Colorado Springs. So if you want to go there, then I'm sure that park's really exciting. And so, let's say, okay, well, I picked the location. What's there? You get your little satellite view. You get the address and the highest level of detail, and clearly in the ocean there's no address, and then you get a little street view of what's going on there. So there you go. So if you go to the favorites page, then we probably need to log in first. Wow, shouldn't. Jesus Christ. All right, let's give it a shot here. All right, there you go. So here's your user page. And on the user page, you can see logged on the globe the antipodes that you yourself like. They're down here. On the favorites page, we've got the highest rated antipode of all time. And on the globe are marked all antipodes ever liked by anyone. So you can see all of those across the world. See, the pink ones are the antipodes, and the gold ones are the original locations. And if you zoom out, you can see how they're clustered. And if you go here, you can see the hero, as Rob cleverly named the best one. All of our classes in CSS are that, and you can upvote it, and it's the highest rated one there, which is, for some reason, Galvanize. And if you click on it, you get this little modal that has the information on it, and yeah, that's Dialogue.
And then, so quickly, we're going to go back to the presentation. Let me just go back here. Here it is. Full screen. Here we go. All right, for technologies, we have a multitude of using back end and front end with these different frameworks. So basically, we started with the base vanilla JavaScript, jQuery node, Postgres to kind of build the database for that. But then for the client, we're actually using a little bit of Java integration with that, and with that mapping API for the antipodes, the globe. With WebGL, it kind of renders a really cool, like, 3D effect, and you can do multiple other things, especially if you expand into like 3JS. Yeah, but on the back end, mostly worked on that with Wahad and, doing routes, authentication. Eventually, we integrated JSON web tokens, and then these guys pushed to Firebase, and that's what we got for technologies. Successes, I would say what you just saw, Will, showing us, that was our success, the functionality of everything, and the ability to kind of like favorite your own locations and find that antipode. We faced many struggles. Do you guys want to chime in on this?
Yeah, sure. Same thing. So I guess, yeah, so some of the struggles, the biggest struggle we probably had was communication, I would say, in our group. Other struggles that we had were, let's see.
It was tremendously difficult dealing with specific types of auth that you need from these Google APIs. That the GET request that you use is just sending them a URL with query strings, but they have like implicit auth settings. So if you try to send authorization using like Ajax presets, then that doesn't work. So there was a lot of really naughty promise chains with various levels of auth on the same page required for different things like login and no authorization for Google APIs. And in general, the 3D stuff was tremendously difficult to get working as an actual interface because there's coordinates that mathematically correlate to the sphere that don't directly correlate to the coordinate system of Earth because there's no east-west mathematically. So that was really fun.
And then we don't have a slide for the future plans, but we're going to refactor this and eventually kind of make it a real modern-looking app, and maybe eventually go to SPA, single-page application, when we learn Angular. So I'm going to be into that. But anything else from you guys that you want to talk about? Awesome. Thanks for being here, guys.
All right, everybody, thank you for being here. First of all, Where the Heart Is comprised of myself, Jake, Jake, Alex, Will. What we want to do here, problem is let's say, I don't know if anybody here owns a home, but let's say you did. You know, at times the market's up right now, go ahead and sell the home, great, get that money back. But let's say the market's down. It doesn't make sense to sell it if you needed to move out. But you could go ahead and rent it, that'd be great. Like any rent payment that you receive in excess of your mortgage payment, that's extra income in your pocket. That's awesome. You also continue to build equity in that property. Again, great. How do you manage that? Now, let's say you're also an existing landlord. You decide to purchase some more rental properties. That's awesome. You're going to go ahead and build onto your portfolio there, diversify, and increase your income. But now that you have more properties, more tenants, more documents involved, how do you keep track of all of that? How do you manage one? How do you manage multiple properties? How do you manage the tenants? How do you keep track who's living where, who's moved out, who's moved in? How do you manage the lease agreements? How do you make sure that what you have on file is signed? How do you manage any maintenance requests to keep your tenants happy? At Home, a platform for independent landlords and tenants, simplifying the inherent complexities of the rental process. Jake, why don't you go ahead and walk us through some of the features?
So At Home gives landlords a place to manage all their properties in one convenient location. You can add, delete, and update any rental property. You can keep track of your tenants on each specific property. You can manage the documents, and you can also manage any maintenance requests. I'm going to pass it off to Alex, and we're going to go through a demo.
All right, so this is going to be your landing page. You're either going to log in or sign up. To sign up, you just click that button to make this modal. You'll input your first name, last name, and the email that you want to be linked to the account. You're going to make a password, and then you're either going to choose landlord or tenant, and that'll make your dashboard different depending on what you choose. So here's your dashboard page. And as a landlord, you're going to want to make your first property. So on the edit property page, you're going to have input boxes for like everything that you need on that property: your address, the rent price, bathrooms, bedrooms, square footage. You can also add an image for your property, just so in case you forget what it looks like. And then your location. Right now we're in Denver. And so once you add that new property, it's going to show up on your dashboard. And there it is, brand new mansion. And so once you click that property, you can have multiple on that dashboard page. Here's your single property dashboard. You have all the property information, your documents, your maintenance requests. So let's say you want to add your lease. You just click add document, and there's our Dropbox link for our lease. You can put the document title and the URL in there, add document, and that will add to your property. And you can add as many documents as you want. If you have addendums, you can add those in there. And then you can see your maintenance requests from your different tenants. And if you want to add tenants to that property, you go to the edit property information. You can edit any property information on there, like if you change the bathroom or bedroom count, you can change that. Here we're going to add CJ to the tenant page, or the as a tenant to the property, and you can see he's down there. Let's say we want to add a joint tenant to the property. Let's say Chase needs a new place to live, and we'll add him in there. So now CJ and Chase are living in this awesome mansion. There they are. Yeah. So now as a tenant, you're going to want to log in, and you're going to get access to all this stuff on your side. So CJ's logging in right now.
No, he's not.
So there he is. You can see all the properties he's renting right now. He's at Cottonwood Street, or Cottonwood Court, and you can see the lease agreement. If he wants to download that, he can. It'll go straight to his hard drive. There it is. You can see it. And he's got some, oh yeah, wrong one. We were on the landlord tab. Going back. So now, as CJ, you have a problem here. Chase had a big night at Taco Bell, and he, the bathroom is now disoperated, and it's pretty urgent. So we got the priority in there, and status is definitely pending. So you now added that to the property maintenance section, and as a landlord, you can now see that Chase ruined the 4th bathroom. So now we've sent a team out to get that taken care of. The 4th bathroom is now fixed, and it's low priority, and the maintenance request is completed. And as a tenant, you're going to be able to see when that's updated. And so after a big fight, CJ decides that he can no longer live with Chase, so he's going to delete him from the page. Yeah. And so that's pretty much the base functionality of At Home.
Connecting back up here. Bring up. Okay. So the benefits of this, as a landlord, the responsive design allows you to access the app from your computer or a mobile device. Ease of mind from not having to keep track of multiple hard copy files. Tenant access to the app gives you a professional appearance, regardless of your experience as a landlord. So if you're a first-time landlord and you don't want to look like an idiot, great, this is the app for you. All property information when you need it, where you need it, at home. Because rental property management should be this easy. All right, Will, why don't you go ahead and talk a little bit about the technologies and future developments we want to add.
Hey, Sean. So for this app, we implemented just your basic Node app with Express Server. We use a Postgres database, and that's basically our what we're going to do. But in the future, what we really want to do is have integrated web payments, and a messaging system. So integrated web payments, messaging system, and yeah, that's about it as far as future stuff goes. At home.
Thank you.
Check, check. Check, check. Check, check. It's a beautiful, beautiful brown. That's not the... Turning off the crusty filter. Oh. All right, that'll work. All right. All right. Thank you, guys. G51 Q2 project here. I'm Austin. We have Ross, Caroline, and Mike. We are here to present Forest Adventures. I got a question for all you. Raise a hand. Does anybody know what this guy needs? Anybody? An adventure? Close. Anybody else? An adventure? A tiny house in the woods? Get his hands out of his pockets. That'll help. Friends. Okay, yeah, friends is a good one. This guy needs some friends. He needs some encouragement to break this tree line because he seems to be just staring at it. So anyways, we have a solution for that, and that is forests. And go through a little bit of what forest is. I'm going to hand it off to Mike.
All right, so what is forest? Do you like to climb, hike, bike, or kayak? Do you like any of those things? Well, Forest is a place that you can find those things to do with other people. You know, make an event and get other people to join you in your activities. Yeah, we got ya. Yeah. But all right, here's Forest Adventures, and I'm gonna pass it off to Ross over here.
How we doing, everybody? All right, so this is Forest. This is our basic landing page, and just quickly come in here if you want to quickly find out a little bit more about it. You can go to our About page, read a little bit about what we are, what we do. And yeah, let's dive right in. So we can start by logging in or signing up. And Cass and CJ. Awesome. Success. And upon logging in, yeah, go to our home page, and let's say we want to browse a trip. No. 2 seconds. All right. Redirect back to the home page. Now, let's say we wanted to go on a kayaking trip, and let's say for beginners. So we'll go ahead and search for that. You're going to get your list of trips. Oh, they're not here. Yeah, you're going to get your list of trips here. You can click on either one. Why don't we go ahead and click? Yeah, let's click that one. And here are all the trip details. So you're going to get your location, date, what activity it is. That is going to be your difficulty. You're going to see who's going on the right. Down in the comment section, you can see people can comment. You can post comments there as well. Yeah, add a little comment there. Let's say we wanted to check out Austin's profile, find out a little bit more about Austin or Mike. And there's his name, get his birthday, his profile picture, his favorite sport. And these are all the upcoming trips and past trips that he has been on and that he's going to be taking part in. And again, you can go to each trip, post a comment about how excited you are, check out other people going on it. And yeah, and if you want to create an event, you can go over here and create an event. Do your title, choose which activity you want, which difficulty, duration, start and end date, capacity of it, and you can add a little description as well. Post about gear that you have, gear that you need. And there is the trip. Beautiful. And if you are done, you can go ahead and log out. And yeah, I'll pass it off to.
I'll take it. All right, let's go back to some slides. All right, some problems that we're solving here, as you can see, is just if you want to look for a new experience, getting outdoors if you're just beginning with a new outdoor sport, whether you're new to an area. Again, if you're new to a sport, you want other like-minded people, you can find all this on the site, which is great. And then diving into the technologies we use, typical, just like everybody else, HTML, CSS, and mostly I'm sure people use Materialize. JavaScript, jQuery, super helpful. Express, Connects, Postgres, Bcrypt, Sass, handlebars. We handled it pretty well and seamlessly. And the workflow was a lot of fun. We were blessed with a great group here. For GitHub, no one makes me merge my own pull request was really helpful. We stuck with the driver navigator plan, so that was really helpful, having only 2 computers and not 4 going and running into merge conflicts or anything like that. For front end and back end, we mostly kind of traded. I think Monday and Tuesday, me and Caroline worked on back end, then we switched to front end, vice versa for the other guys. So everybody kind of had their hands in everything. We didn't do too much coding alone, which was super helpful. We had like constant contact. We were coding in front of people and able to ask questions, feed off each other, and yeah, just really get suggestions or help, which is awesome. We also had clear expectations. We would always, ask the whole group, do we need this? Do you want this? Should this do this? And there was no man-interruptions, which we talked about earlier, which is great, and no appropriate comments. Those are appropriate for bros. But anyways, and then next, some of the challenges. I guess I'll pass it off to Mike. Can you talk about these challenges?
Some of the challenges we had, one of the big challenges was doing back-end authorization and all that, getting all the web tokens to work and being able to see certain things on the site, whether you were logged in or not. That was really tough. That took us about a good day and a half to do that, to get that successfully working. And materialize, that was another big challenge. Ross really pulled it home for us, working with SAS and materialize. I don't know how he did it, but he made it look super nice. Then Heroku has been a challenge since day one for us. Even this morning, it didn't have our token secret, and we didn't know why, and it was working before that. But yeah, handlebars is actually pretty tough too. I've never done it, so that was new for me, a new experience for me. It's good learning from these three out here, and yeah, those are probably our primary challenges throughout the project. Yeah, so Force for the Future, would you like to take over, Caroline?
Yeah, so for the future, we think it'd be really cool to do OAuth, so we can kind of integrate a social media component to the app, kind of including in that of like maybe have a friends list based off of Facebook or another social media platform. Also integrate a rating system similar to Airbnb, where you can rate not only a trip but also the organizer of the trip. So if you saw that people had a really good time on that organizer's hiking trip, now they're doing a kayaking one, you kind of have more faith in going with that organizer. Integrating Google Maps, so we can have like an interactive map of where the future events are going. You might have noticed we had a lot of stock images in there, kind of integrating more automatic image upload for each event. And then doing event repeats, say you want to do like a trail run every Tuesday at 6. And then kind of notifying about the events that you're signed up for. And just overall, like upgrading some of our interface functionality. Like for the chat room, you might have noticed we just kind of listed the comments, but wanted to make it more of like a chat room look. So yeah, I think that's it.
Thank you guys very much. I just want to let you know, forest is Latin for outdoors, so that's why we picked that name. I thought that was super clever. It sounds good. So we're Team Megaforce, so thank you very much.
Check, check, testing, stuff and things.
Good morning, everybody. We are here to demo our new web app for you, Little Helpers. Now, who are we? We are Team Parent Pals, including myself, Adam Miner, Matthew Gonzer here, Chase Emerita down on the end, and Marlena Baker. And so the main problem that we set out to fix was fairly simple. It was because typically parents, such as Chase here, often can't get their children to do tasks or help out around the house. So we set out to kind of fix that. So we came up with Little Helpers. Chase, you want to tell them what it's all about?
So Little Helpers is a task reward tracking app usable both by parents and their children. Kids are allowed to see what they're working for, as well as what tasks they need to complete in order to gain necessary points for their reward. And parents, on the other hand, are allowed to add and remove their children, as well as add and redeem tasks and rewards, allowing their children to work towards points necessary in order to redeem their reward. The tasks and rewards aspect of our app allows tasks to be completed for points towards the child's wallet, which can then be saved and spent on rewards set by the parents. When a reward is redeemed, points are deducted from the child's wallet. Pass it to Matt here for the site demo.
Thank you. So we're going to do a quick demo here. This is our website, Little Helpers. This is the splash page. As we scroll down, we have a description of tasks, points, and rewards. Up top, we can register or log in. We're going to log in here with the email. Whoa. Secret password, huh? All right, so we're going to log in.
Sorry, it just takes a little while.
So I get dropped into my dashboard and I see my children. So right now I have Winston and Bob. We can see that Winston has 4 points and Bob has no points. So to go to Winston's page, we're going to click on him. And right now we see that Winston has no rewards and no tasks. So we're going to first add a reward. Treat worth 10 points. Now we have our treat here. And we're also going to give him a task. Also worth 10 points. So Winston's starting out with 4 points. He has now a treat, a reward, and a task. So once he completes his task, we check it off, and Winston's points now go up to 14. He now has enough points to redeem his treat, so we'll check that off. And we'll give him a treat, and it'll take those points out of his wallet. If we give him a task that we realize he can't do or he doesn't want to do, we can just delete that task over here without affecting the total points. We'll then go back to the dashboard and we can navigate to our other children. See, Bob has no points. Bob has a couple tasks, a couple rewards. Back to the dashboard. All right, so say we go back to Winston and we give him a reward of pet for 10 points. And we want to redeem that pet for 10 points, but Winston doesn't have enough points in his wallet, so we get an error, not enough points. So back to our dashboard. Once Winston's matured and he no longer wants to use this app anymore, we can then remove him from our list, and he's gone. And when we're all done, we can log out and back to the home page. Now Marlena is going to talk about the technology.
So the technology that we use for our app, there's a slew of it. So for our front end, we used HTML, of course. We used Bootstrap for our CSS styling, handlebars for templating, and JavaScript jQuery for our functionality. On the back end, we use Node and Express for our server, and then Postgres and Connect for our database and queries. And then our front end, we deployed to Firebase, and our back end to Heroku. Future plans for the app. We want to include a child view that the parent can go to that is uneditable, so that the child can view their rewards and tasks without any risk of them redeeming them when the parent looks away, or deleting tasks they don't want to do, and having that kind of functionality. Possibly someday a child login. And we'd like to improve the functionality with some of our error handling and such, and give it a nice mobile responsive design someday. So thank you very much for watching our demo, and we hope that you liked Little Helpers. You can feel free to visit our demo site at the URL. Thanks.